we are in the Caliphate, Sokoto Caliphate, here in Sokoto, and this is where we are having the Nigeria Governors Forum, and this special edition will be featuring primarily governors from different states who are members of the Governors Forum. But just before I introduce our set of guests for this segment of the program, I want to give you a quick update. We understand that election is just about starting in Anambra State. We're also informed that there are logistic problems. INEC is experiencing some problems. That's according to our reporters who are on the ground. They said in Demili that there is a problem there. They're not able to share or give out the material, election materials as quickly as possible. And there are other places in different parts of Anambra State where information and materials are not getting out as is expected. But from what we heard in Oka, everything seemed to be moving very smoothly. The sharing of the equipment and the materials is going on very well. Security again is said to be as tight as can be and has been very effective. We'll give you more update during the course of this program, and of course you can be sure that on channels we'll give you all the updates throughout the course of today because we've got our crew on ground. Now back to the studio.
Everything is going according that's how we see it here.
Yes. So now back to the studio. When we were having conversation yesterday and preparing for this program, and we said that the first segment will have the governor of Rivers State and we have the governor of Sokoto State, and we said let's bring some intellectual governors, eminently qualified people. And I'm not flattering them because this is conversation we had, and then we thought, yes, who are those people? Well, we have them in the studio now, and I'll start from my right, the governor of Lagos State. And he's our guest, and this is Governor Babatunde Raji Fashola. Good morning, SAN, I must remember to mention.
Good morning.
Good morning and welcome to Sunrise.
Thank you for having me.
And
the tweets, by the way, that he should go for president, he should run. We got those tweets.
We got even a video showing, but we'll discuss that during the course of the program. And also on my left-hand side, we've got the governor of Ekiti State, Dr. Fayemi. Great to have you here.
Good to be here. Thanks for having me.
All the way to Sokoto to get both of you on Sunrise, which is what I love.
You're reading my mind.
Yeah, this is not an inappropriate place to get me. I'm a local here. I spent a year of my younger days here.
You'd say
served here.
So this is home. Yes. Okay. All right. I'll start with the governor of Lagos State. Your Excellency, you are here. Let's start with Governors Forum itself. How do you feel about the fact that we're talking about the splinter group within the NGF? I know that Governor Amechi does not even want to broach the subject, but how do you feel that you have none of the quality and class and caliber of governors in Nigeria, and yet we have the problem that has happened?
Well, I don't think it's quite correct to suggest that Governor Amechi didn't want to broach the subject. I think he made his position eminently clear. As regards how I feel a little scandalized, really, that something so basic as an election by us, amongst us, as leaders of a club, to put it mildly, could result in such a very unsavory outcome. And that is why I took this step to go to court, because what is being touted there as a splinter group has its foundation based on impunity and a sense of an unwillingness to accept the result of a contest that you subscribe to. And I think that it does us no good at all. It's just not sportsmanlike.
So what's the status of the court?
Well, the proceedings are still afoot. There were some objections about issues, and my lawyers are dealing with it, really. But irrespective of the outcome, I think the point that it makes to me is that we will not stand by and allow impunity to thrive. One hopes that the arbiters of this kind of matters, when there are disputes, which is the judiciary, would in the event make some pronouncement one way or the other. But out there in the open, clearly, I believe that, and there was some documentary evidence, in spite of people seeking to hide behind the finger, as it were, suggesting that they didn't vote or they didn't participate, and so on and so forth. There were 36 governors, 35 attended either in person or by their deputies. 35 votes were counted, results were announced. If you add 19 and 16 together, you will get 35. So really, it's just standing logic upside down in a spirit that is not sportsmanlike. I think it was a joke that has gone too far. And I want to use this opportunity again. For me, the Governors Forum is not a place where the victors and they are vanquished. The door remains open. Let us show leadership. Let us reach out, discuss the issues in a very forthright and frank manner, and go out there as brothers and put this to bed.
So interestingly, yeah, it's one of the issues you're going to be looking at this retreat, the rule of law and, human rights. I'm looking at the rule of law part of it, which I think is very important, especially for the NGF at this time, Governor Fayemi.
Absolutely, because, at the end of the day, as leaders, we're role models. And when role models are involved in matters that do not paint us in a good light to the general citizenry, that's why people come to erroneous impression sometimes that, governors are just the same. Even an ordinary election they couldn't hold, so how do you then expect a normal national election to go smoothly? Yeah. That's the impression that we've given outside, at least some of us. And the duty, indeed our responsibility, is to restore respectability to the office that God and our people have given us the opportunity to hold. So, and that's why for some of us, it's not so much about the Governors Forum. After all, it's not a constitutional entity. It's a club, as my brother, Governor Fashola, describes it. But it is a club that has become a factor because governors are critical authorities in our country. And what we do, how we project ourselves, our character, also is indicative of how the country generally sees rule of law, sees good governance, sees accountability.
Your Excellency, let me ask you pointedly, have you had a chance to speak with Governor Jonah Jang?
Oh, Governor Jang is my elder brother. As he often describes it, it could even be my father, since I am Governor Mitch's age mates. That's how he tends to describe this thing. I have had
a chance to speak with him. What did you say to him? Because if I had the opportunity, I will be telling him exactly how I feel about the whole thing, especially using the words of Governor Fashola, that he's scandalized. What did you say to him?
Well, I don't want to repeat in graphic terms what I said to Governor Jang, but I asked him to demonstrate leadership in simple terms, to demonstrate leadership and ensure that history and posterity judge us right at the end of the day. As for the details, of course, Governor Michi made it clear what transpired.
But did he agree with you, or did he not see reason?
In principle, he agreed.
Oh, he agreed.
He agreed that we all should demonstrate leadership, and we all should come together and figure out the best way to manage the situation. And we also said to him, I said to him that this is not a no victor, no vanquished situation.
He explained why they had to do what they did.
Well, in his own case, there would always be explanation. I mean, when you are in a particular corner, you would want to justify that corner, no matter how ridiculous or sublime your justification might be to the outside world. The important point here is that this is the Governors Forum. It's a forum for governors. It is not a forum in which external influence determines what happens inside it. And I think that's the defining line here. Is this the forum of governors, or is it the presidential following 4 governors.
Governors. So, Your Excellency, Your Excellency,